It's time for another WrestlePlanet news update as Paul Heyman discusses CM Punk's debut in All Elite Wrestling, WWE offer Jeff Hardy a spot in the Hall of Fame, and MJF teases a match with The Miz in WWE. And before we continue, make sure you drop a like on the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest wrestling news. To begin, let's look at a deal that has been signed between WWE and a major entertainment company. It has been announced this week that WWE has agreed an exclusive agreement with Disney that will see WWE Network content air exclusively on Disney Plus in Indonesia. The agreement makes all WWE live events available to Disney Plus Hotstar subscribers via a standard subscription, with all events being available in the Bahasa Indonesian language as well as in English. This is the first deal in history struck between WWE and Disney directly, although they do have an established relationship via Disney's inherited WWE's Latin American deal with Fox. The Disney-owned Hulu streaming service also owns the exclusive Raw and SmackDown re-air rights in the United States, a deal that expires at the end of this year. Disney has long been rumoured as a potential buyer of WWE if Vince McMahon were to ever sell the company, with this Disney Plus deal potentially laying the foundation for a switch from Peacock in the United States once their multi-year deal expires. Next up, WWE superstar Dominic Mysterio appeared on a recent episode of the My Mom's Basement podcast, where he was asked about potential opponents from All Elite Wrestling if there were ever a day that the forbidden door was opened between the two companies. Mysterio would send Twitter into a frenzy when he would name a fellow second-generation wrestler, with him revealing that he wants AEW to send Hook. After a brief pause, Dominic would say, "Hook. That would be a fun one. For the culture, Penta El Zero M and Rey Fenix. Me and my dad against Penta and Phoenix, I think we would knock the doors down and bring the house down. We would tear it down with those guys. Andrade would be another one. He left us, but he's another one. CM Punk, Sting, there are so many guys I would love to work with. We'll see what the future holds." Mysterio would go on to name a number of WWE superstars that he'd like to step in the ring with, listing the likes of Santos Escobar, Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, as well as top stars such as Roman Reigns and Randy Orton. This interview follows a recent appearance from Dominic's father Rey Mysterio on Barstool's Wrestling Show, where he would reveal that he will hang his mask up when he feels his son is ready to take off on his own. This week, one of AEW's newest signings, Kyle O'Reilly, would appear on the Talk is Jericho podcast, where he discussed the Wednesday night wars between AEW and NXT, which ran from October 2nd, 2019 to April 7th, 2021. Whilst Kyle was on Team NXT at the time, he revealed that he thought the war was cool, admitting that the NXT locker room was rooting for AEW to succeed in order to elevate the business, and he would say, "I thought it was so cool that it was back to two shows going head to head. It felt like back in '98 when it was the Monday Night Wars, and now we are part of it on Wednesday." Then on the other channel is guys that we came up with within the business that we are rooting for. We were rooting for AEW to kick ass because that elevated our game, and I know our game being elevated would elevate your guys' game. The short-lived war between AEW and NXT would come to an end when the latter moved to Tuesday nights, with AEW coming out on top in the ratings for the vast majority of the time. O'Reilly played a big part in NXT's television at the time as part of the Undisputed Era, with 3 of the 4 members now linking up in AEW. Next, we have a report coming out of PW Insider, who have revealed 3 of the surprise names slated for the Royal Rumble. According to the report, former WWE superstars Oksana, Cameron, and Melina are all in St. Louis, with all 3 penciled in for the Women's Royal Rumble match. Melina last appeared in WWE as part of the Legends Night edition of Raw in January 2021, whereas Cameron's last major appearance occurred in 2020 as part of AEW's Women's Tag Team Tournament. She has not appeared in WWE since 2016. As for Oksana, she hasn't appeared in a wrestling ring since June 2014, which was her last WWE appearance. Oksana, Cameron, and Melina join Shane McMahon, Bad Bunny, Kurt Angle, Asuka, Kairi Sane, Ronda Rousey, Bron Breakker, Walter, and Raquel Gonzalez as rumored names in the Royal Rumble matches. WWE have officially announced 21 of the 30 competitors for the Women's Rumble, whilst 22 of the 30 competitors have been revealed for the Men's Rumble match. And speaking of potential WWE returns, we have some news regarding a former WWE Raw Women's Champion that could be heading back to the company. It has been previously reported by Fightful earlier this week that Ronda Rousey's name has came up internally as a potential return, perhaps at the Royal Rumble this Sunday. Since then, the Wrestling Observer has confirmed that Rousey has been back training for pro wrestling and she will be returning this year, and she is still under contract with the company. They added that her original deal was up last year, but either a new deal was put together or WWE froze her 3-year deal since she only worked the first year and few months of it. They are also reporting that there has been internal discussions of a WrestleMania 38 showdown between Rousey and former foe Becky Lynch, with their first encounter being a triple threat match to main event WrestleMania 35, with a singles match being long awaited. Whilst Rousey hasn't been confirmed for the Rumble match itself, PW Insider did report that her makeup woman is booked for both the Rumble in St. Louis and Raw 2 days later in Cincinnati. Rousey recently gave birth to her first child in late September, which has left doubt over an impending return, although reports seem to suggest that an appearance could be imminent. This week, WWE's Paul Heyman would be interviewed on The Masked Man show, where he was asked about the return of his former on-screen client CM Punk to wrestling, who debuted in AEW last August. Heyman would discuss Punk's current run and seemed to show more interest in what happens after the novelty wears off, and wants to see how Punk can evolve his work once he is no longer fresh. And Heyman would say, "I think what will be interesting is what happens when the novelty that he's back wears off, both for the audience and for him. I'm sure for him it's still like, I can't believe I'm back, I'm actually walking into an arena, holy shit. I think it's still very fresh for him. What happens a year from now? How is he going to feel? How will the audience look at him and accept him in a year? If he can continue to drive himself to be a progressive, compelling, riveting character on the cutting edge that presents himself in a different manner than anyone else can present, then he's going to be a fascinating character to watch." Heyman would then smartly draw the conversation back to WWE, making comparisons to his former tribal chief Roman Reigns, pointing out the necessary evolution that Reigns had to go through to stay at the top of his game, and stated that Punk will need to go through a similar transition. Whilst it's great to see CM Punk back in the wrestling ring, it will be interesting to see what the future holds for him, with him having a history of changing his character to keep himself fresh. We saw this with the original straight edge superstar before transitioning into the cult leader of the straight edge society, and then into the best in the world. But what do you think is next for CM Punk? Let me know in the comments down below. Next, let's get to some Jeff Hardy news, as it has been revealed that he was offered a spot in the WWE Hall of Fame following his release in December 2021. According to the Wrestling Observer, WWE's head of talent relations, John Laurinaitis, called Jeff a few weeks back to talk about bringing him back into the company, offering him a spot in the 2022 Hall of Fame class. Hardy is said to have turned the offer down. During the conversation, Hardy is said to have asked for his drug test results from when he was released in December, because he knew he wasn't going to test positive for any recreational drugs. It is said to have taken 6 weeks for him to get the results back. Interestingly, the report states that Jeff Hardy is one of the guys WWE does not want to join AEW, with them realizing that the Hardy Boys tag team could be revitalized with so many teams for them to work with. Jeff's non-compete clause does expire on March 9th, and the current belief is that Hardy will indeed join his brother Matt in AEW, that is unless he returns to WWE, which now seems unlikely. And finally, let's go to an interesting interaction between an AEW wrestler and a WWE superstar, with a future match between the two having been teased. This week, WWE's The Miz would speak with The Ring Wrestling podcast, where he was asked about MJF after being referenced in a recent AEW promo with CM Punk. Whilst Punk feels that MJF is a quote less famous Miz, the man himself disagrees, praising MJF's work and stating that he thinks he wants to be the first MJF rather than the next Miz, and he would say, "I don't think he wants to be the Miz, to be honest. I don't think any superstar, no matter what company you're in, wants to be the next this person. You want to be an original. I remember I was compared to Jericho for a while, I was compared to Ric Flair for a while, and I was like, oh my god, I don't even know how you could even compare. I don't want to be compared, I want to be an originator." Now you take things like when you're learning and you're coming up through the business, you see things that you like out of certain superstars that you like. I'll take a little of that, a sprinkle of that, a sprinkle of that, sprinkle a little of that, as a homage to these people or whatever. In a sense, you want to be an original. So I don't think he wants to be the next Miz, I think he wants to be the first him, and honestly he's doing a great job at it. Miz would go on to compare his path to the top with MJF, stating that when he was his age, he was still in developmental, and he would add, "At 25 years old, I was still in developmental at Deep South Wrestling, and still learning the trade. I wasn't putting on matches on national television, I wasn't putting together memorable promos people were talking about, so that's just like applause to him." MJF would then respond to the interview on Twitter, once again teasing a move to WWE once his deal expires in 2024, and he said, "Miz is one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. I look forward to possibly meeting up with him down the road." MJF's comments are smart in a couple of ways, firstly with him continuing to tease a jump to WWE, or whilst praising one of the most hated wrestlers in the business by the hardcore wrestling fans, getting people talking in the process. But what do you think of the MJF and Miz comparisons, and do you think they'll meet on screen somewhere down the line? Let me know in the comments down below. And before you go, make sure you check out my video where I discuss 12 of the most obscure WWE appearances by AEW wrestlers.